To Max Sneaks. You guys ready? Yeah! Cool. So there are a lot of you in the room who have never attended Sneaks before. In fact, we've got a lot of first-time Max attendees here. Great having you. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Hope you come back next year. So I thought it was probably worth taking a moment to explain what Sneaks is and why we do this. We have lots of really smart, really creative engineers building cool products with great features, and you saw some of their latest thinking, their latest innovation yesterday during the keynote. Well, what do you think of that keynote yesterday morning? Yeah? So there's a lot more where that comes from. A lot of innovation, a lot of creativity, and Sneaks is our chance to bring engineers on stage and give them a chance to show off, show you what they're doing. We usually have 10 Sneaks. We actually have so much stuff to show you this year. We're actually doing 12. So we're going to bring out the engineers, and they're going to wow you with what they're working on. And the reason we do this, actually, is because we want to gauge your response. Now, to be very clear, not everything you see is actually going to make it into a product. But it sometimes does happen. A few years ago, in MAX in Las Vegas, we showed a feature that then became content-aware fill inside Photoshop. And as you heard yesterday, last MAX, we showed you de-blur, which ended up being the inspiration for the camera shake reduction that's in the upcoming Photoshop CC. So some of this does, in fact, become product, but it may or may not, no promises. But we do want to show it to you, like to get your input, so if you like something, tell us. Cheer, applause, let us know. If you don't like it, well, you're free to applause anyway. These demos usually do work, but again, this is live. There's no magic, no duct tape. This is real, in-process, in-work engineering. And so occasionally stuff does go wrong, and if something fails or something misbehaves, we will be very nice and we'll applause and give a standing ovation if you wish. That's kind of protocol.
Ben!
Welcome! Good to have you guys.
Marilyn Rice Cup, everybody! Ben, would you like to come into my van and tangle beards with me? Say yes. Come in.
Say yes.
Yes, I would love to.
Please come into our van.
Sure.
They can mesh. I'm so excited for the sneak peeks.
Yeah, me too.
What's going on with it?
You had fun when you were here last time, didn't you?
Dude, it blew my mind last year. I was like, okay, whatever, I'm doing this industrial gig. Whatever, Adobe, what is that? You know, I made a lot of acrobat jokes and update. And by the way, the updating thing, I figured it out. When you get the pop-up that says update, you do the update. Yeah. And then the annoying little thing goes away. And then you have better software. So I figured that all out. But I was really blown away last year because I thought, oh, blah, 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 it's going to be so boring. It's going to be about pixels and ones and zeros and stuff like that. But the stuff that they showed, it really literally blew my mind. Some of the stuff. It was incredible.
Great.
So this better blow my mind.
Giving a lot of thought to just that. And so our first sneak, I'm going to ask Eric to show us some of his thinking around what next generation creative tooling could look like. Eric.
Hey. Absolutely. I am ecstatic to be able to show.
I thought he was a stagehand. I thought he was just a stagehand. Like he was moving.
Don't take that from him.
I might need your assistance later. How good are you at drawing?
Okay.
Okay. We'll see how that goes. I've been on this journey of trying to get stuff to draw for this presentation, and you would think it would be hard to find racy photos of rain, but as a result, pretty much every photo I Googled, I found was pretty racy. So I did manage to find a few that filtered out that weren't. But to the point, I'm really excited to be able to share with you some of the vision that we have, guided by Mighty, for the future of drawing, and the drawing that we've been thinking about in XD around generationals. People that look at software in a way that is intimidating. We want to break those barriers, and we want to take away a lot of the things that sort of were the frictions before to creating experiences or sketching the ideas that they have. So
he wants you to move on, Eric.
Spice it up, Eric. Let's go. Time is money.
Time is money, and
show us your mighty Napoleon.
Maybe backstage.
Eric!
Maybe backstage, my friend. So, how do we increase those delightful experiences? How do we make people play with stuff a lot more? We give them tools that just feel natural. We give them a page that we move around. It gets rid of the tools that are behind there. And then we click on the tools and move the tools around that we need. In this instance, I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to go over my image, and then it allows me to use pressure-sensitive styluses to draw. Now, naturally in front of a lot of people, thousands, I'm going to be a little bit shaky, but I am going to show you what I've drawn in the past. But what I do want to show you is that given the reference of an image, I'm able to get the forms right. That's the hardest part, is that I want to be able to know where the eyes are, where the glasses are, but then I want to be able to click and remove that image, and now get back to doing the sketching that's important to me. So I get in there and I draw, and now I go and try and find different tools, and that's something else that we've been exploring. What are some different textures? Here I'm just using a paintbrush. Why don't I grab a different color?
Make my lips red. Really red. Luscious.
How about we make them luscious and with watercolor?
He needs mouse whiskers.
The longer I let that reside, the deeper the red is going to be.
No, Eric.
There's something wrong with the virus. It's off your...
Vomiting blood.
Napoleon, stand down.
Not the first one.
So, images are great for getting references, but images aren't the only things that, tracing them aren't the only things that we can do with them. So now if I just touch on that image, and check my Twitter feed, sorry. Wow, you're doing really great. Thanks. Inspiring talk. I can stencil out Rain's face in the place that it is, or continue to draw in other areas, and now I can, do essentially what takes a lot of time to do in Photoshop. So it's adding that delightfulness, but then there's this connection between the images and the image and the canvas. So if I decrease the size of the canvas, the image size stays the same. So I'm able to do a lot of patterning. So if I make the image even smaller, now I'm able to do
It looks like
a lot of effects that just make you want to play. That's the whole trick. You make people better at being creative if you allow them to give them tools that force them to just explore and play. And that's the same sort of thing with the watercolor, where you're not really sure what's going to happen until you just kind of draw a few marks and see what emerges. But these are textures, they're images. I'm referencing images that I've drawn on my sketchbook and scanned in. And there's more things that you can do with that. I have a few pens here. One is a little risky. One's actually really risky. I'm an Adobe employee, so... well, okay, just to give you a hint of what is possible, here's just a general image. It's just a
Innocent thingy.
Innocent. This other one, for an actress, it's risky for me to use because I'm never entirely sure what shapes emerge. Sorry. Don't hate me.
You're painting with a Marilyn Rice Cup brush?
Are you painting a penis with
She's
my...
got curves I've never seen.
Okay, I get it.
My penis looks like Marilyn Rice Cup.
That's astounding. Okay. Yeah, I'm not zooming in on that, but...
What is that?
My friend that is you at MTV with a teddy bear that is regretting that night.
God.
All too much.
Never live that image down.
No, but I mean, we can just keep drawing. But my time is up.
It's like Ralph Bakshi from the 70s.
It's like he's raping me a little bit. I feel raped a little bit.
You feel raped. I drew this sky thinking that was what I was going to be drawing.
What are you doing to me?
And it's like, okay, sorry little teddy bear. Golden
Eric, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kick the shit out of you. I know I can do it.
My job is done. Thank you very much.
All right, Eric, thank you.
There's no paint splotches. There's no jokes. This is serious.
Show your penis?
It's covered. So,
He said serious.
Oh,
yeah.
alright.
So like Ben said, I've been working on something because we already have a great responsive design tool for designers. But there's another part of the process, which is the developers, right? So developers need to actually edit the CSS, right? I mean, they're gonna, there's lots of really specific stuff that you have to do.
I've been telling you that forever.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Edit the CSS.
What's CSS?
CSS.
cascading style sheets, which doesn't really, I mean, it's obvious what that means. I thought you were a technology guy. Anyway, I'm already like a minute into the thing. I haven't done anything. All right, so I'm working on my HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, right? So, I'm a developer, right? So now I wanted to make this site responsive. But the thing is it's a very visual thing that you have to do. So it's kind of a combination. So what I'm going to do is to launch into what I'm calling responsive mode, right? So the great thing about brackets and edge code, it's all built in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you don't like something in the interface, all you got to do is say display none, it's gone, right? And not that I ever did that with brackets, but you can see now my thing is split in two. I have a split pane where I have my HTML below, and I have an actual live preview. Now at the top, you see something very familiar if you've used Reflow before. We have a ruler. So now I can start playing around with that ruler.
Welcome to Piccolo, a big theme in a small package. Lorem ipsum dollar sit harness. Who writes this stuff?
Not very good.
The people who make templates that I buy so that I can use here.
All
So
right.
that's the thing.
All right, Smarty.
Yeah.
You got 2 minutes. Go.
Yeah. What?
Does this mean anything to anyone here? Yes. Okay, some people are turned on by this. I'm going to shut up. Go ahead. Anyone a little bit chubby right now? Just.
What's funny is I can't hear anything you're saying. It's like this echo. So I'm assuming you're saying good things, right?
It's all good. It's all. Yeah, it's
all right. Quiet. So now I'm going to take this ruler and I'm going to start adjusting the side, right? So this is a fixed width side, which is not bad. Not everything has to be fluid these days. But at a certain point, this is going to break down because it's a fixed width, so it's going to start getting cut off. So I'm going to insert a new media query at this position, right? And then what I need to do is could they put the keyboard any further away from the actual monitor? Okay, sorry. So what I need to do now is I need to select the individual elements and adjust the CSS. So I have an inspect mode, and you can see the whole thing turns dark, and then whatever you roll over, it gives you this nice effect. It's totally not necessary. Well, so you can applaud for it anyway.
Nice effect.
We don't all live Hollywood lifestyles. I mean, to me, this is like a good time.
We're going to take you out tonight to the chateau. We're going to show you a good time. It's going to blow your mind, right?
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my main container div. But now you got to watch very carefully the code editor and what happens when I click. Boom. See that? Now, I'm actually animating your code, which is what every developer out there has been wanting. But this works.
work. So if I click here, it brings that specific element into view. I go here. Because I don't have time to be scrolling around, you know? I just want it. And this works both ways, okay? So I can go down, I can click on a certain HTML tag, and it's also going to bring the browser back up. Like that.
Cool.
I'm going to use that in my life.
It can't be
I don't have
over.
time to scroll around.
What's this? No way!
Now I'm going to
He's run over time. Uh-oh. He's run over time. Not good.
Come on, you got to stay at 55. Come on, you're taking too long. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
See?
You're taking too long.
Sorry, you're out of here.
Lee, sorry, man.
Sorry, Dave.
I didn't get to do anything.
You have the right to remain silent.
Lee, warm, help you out. Put it up, Lee.
All right, thank you. I'm also just a little curious. So if I just go over my time, will he come out again? Okay. So yesterday I'm sure that a lot of you saw that we are now taking the first step forward in our technology as far as being able to remove the negative effects of like camera shake in an image. And we showed that off in Photoshop CC, of course. And we showed it off on a desktop, right? We did not show it off on a tablet device, and there's a reason for that. Because if you start thinking about the intensive computation that it takes in order to do that kind of correction to an image, right? We're talking motion blur in a camera. So there's a ton of variety of different ways that you can blur in a camera, right? You can shake the camera this way, right? So we have to figure out which direction the shake is coming. We have to figure out exactly how much blur there is. And you also have to take into consideration things like the relative distance between the camera and the actual subjects in the image. So that, as you can imagine, takes a ton of math, right? Well, the problem is when you're using Photoshop, that's great because you can use that on a machine that has a lot of power. But what if you wanted to use that same technology on a device like this that is not as powerful? Of course, you're limited to the power of that device unless you take advantage of the cloud. So what we've got is that same
She's good.
shake.
Where'd you find her? She's good.
Yes, she is.
I'm shaking. You don't know I'm shaking. I want real life shake reduction technology. That would be great.
You're doing great.
I'm totally shaking.
You're kicking out some of those other two
Okay.
losers.
No, I'm not. And I can't draw.
No, but you're speaking with such clarity and dynamism.
That's because I work in Lightroom and we have clarity there. We have a
How
slider.
much do you make? How much do you make?
No, you're going to make me go over 5 minutes, aren't you? Okay, no, I'm going to tap
You
to
have
start.
a little handcuff fetish, don't you?
No. Okay. Anyway, so this is a picture that you saw yesterday, right? The little flower picture. So I'm going to go ahead and start this little shake reduction technology. But then I'm going to go back and look at more pictures in the cloud, and we're going to click on another one. And we didn't see this one, so I'll use this one, and I'll use shake reduction. And then we're going to go back to the cloud again. And then this one, I'll go ahead and select. But check it out. So the engineers are so kind to me because I can't engineer or program my way out of a paper bag. They thought I would be so nervous that they said that they would program in so that I could just shake this and it would actually start the technology. Is that not awesome? Okay. So let's go back to the first one, right? I'm going to go ahead and click on that flower. So yesterday what you saw in Photoshop on the desktop with the power of that machine, what you saw was one rendering, right? But check it out. What Jeff and his team have done is they've actually given me 5 different renderings because, right, when you go to the cloud, you're not stuck with one device.
That's
if
amazing.
you've got a ton of math that you have to process, you can go and distribute that across as many devices as you have in the cloud. So there's a huge advantage. So now all I can do is just go in here and we'll just pick one. I actually like this one the best, so I'll just rate it. And then we'll go back and we'll look at another image and we'll go through. So there's before and there's after. Which do you like better, before or after, A or B? We're at the ophthalmologist right now. Which one? We like that one. No, we like 4 the best. we go ahead and rate that. And look, you can even, like just because some of the technology is in the cloud, you could also do local adjustments. So here I just have a slider kind of like to mimic the levels or the opacity slider in layers. But think you could do a combination of both, right? It's not either or. So then let's go back one more time and we'll come to this image right here. And then we'll go ahead and just go through and we'll look at different versions of it. And let's say we'd like maybe the last one. So we'll start out. So now, yeah, not only is it cool technology,
Give it up, Brandon.
I was mesmerized. And I know it's a little difficult to see up there. Alright, but if I'm rating these in the cloud, well that means that maybe we could use crowdsourcing with our technology in order to enhance it. Right? So now all of a sudden we have the opportunity as a company to put our information up there, gather more data. The more people use it, the more data we get, the more intelligent we can make our algorithms. So that's another huge advantage for Adobe. And then if you look at it even one step further, we can publish those APIs so that any developer that's sitting out here in the audience today could actually tap into this core functionality. And that way we can operate whatever other apps and services you guys want. So with that, that's just maybe one way we can solve some problems that we might think are impossible today. Thank you very much.
Keep talking.
No, wait a minute.
Don't you have more to say?
I have a question. How does it work when you want,
Off duty, man.
get her out of here?
We didn't have very long
This
shift.
wasn't quite what I was imagining.
Come on, let's get in the shower.
Paintings in under 5 minutes. So I better get going. So, the other day, actually quite a while back, I was browsing the web.
Olga Vinamula. Danke.
I was looking for one of my heroes, Rain, and I found this cool website that did fan art. And, there was an example like this kind of really regal painting, and another one like this. And it really got my creative juices flowing. I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if I could do something like that? And, I work for Adobe. I have a copy of Photoshop. So I downloaded one of my favorite pictures of Rain. And, well, I was kind of intimidated. So maybe not get the poise and the grace of him. So I started with something simpler. All right. So, and I sat down and I thought, I use this as a reference to paint over it. And I gave myself a good 2 to 3 minutes to come up with this. And I was kind of disappointed. It's not really what I had in mind when I started. So I thought, okay, maybe it's a bit ambitious. Let's start with something simpler shapes, simpler colors, and so on. Again, another 2 to 3 minutes later, this is what I came up with. And it was really disappointing. I mean, check out the tree. I tried to get the texture in it and everything. And so I thought, I'm just not good at painting.
Did you really try them?
Well, the thing is, I decided not to blame myself, but to blame the tools. And so instead of learning Photoshop, I created my own tool.
You might want to blame yourself just a little bit. Blame yourself.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's something I'm going to be working on. All right. So with this tool, I created smart brushes. And so the kind of dumb smart brush just basically copies the color under the cursor. And that's not all that impressive. But what I also have here is a shape brush. And the shape brush kind of, in normal regions, just draws a couple of strokes. But in regions that has interesting content, it kind of knows about the swirliness of the clouds. And so it draws these clouds for me. And basically, with very little effort, I can create a whole lot of brush strokes more or less automatically. Now, thank you. Now, I could be doing the same thing for the tree, but then I'm not going to get exactly that kind of high-frequency texture on that. So what I want to do here is I've created this coarse-to-fine brush, and what it does is it basically layers small brushes on top of bigger ones. And again, with just very few brushes, I can swipe over this area.
You can also just take that picture down to Kinko's and make a color copy. So.
I could also probably pay a painter, but I don't have the money. So anyway, what I can also do is, if I decide, basically what it's all about is about the detail. So if I want to add some more detail, like the shadow here, I make the tool size smaller. And if I want to remove some detail, I just basically lower the alpha threshold, and I can smooth that out here. Right, now let's see if, I'm kind of happy with my landscape. Let's see if I can graduate on my portrait of Rain. And so one of the first things that you'll notice as I load Rain into my prototype here is he ends up looking a lot better.
Oh, yeah!
Wow!
Who is that hot bear?
Hello. Hello.
So that already helps. And so the next thing is, I'm going to use again that shade brush. And that's going to magically kind of outline this character here just by brushing over it. So that, me as someone who's not an artist, this helps a lot. And then I can go in with a fill brush and basically decide, fill in the various regions. And basically just by changing the tool size, I get to determine again how much detail I want in the various regions. Obviously in the face I'm going to need a little bit more. Try to bring out the guns here. Let's see, I'm going to be dragged off the stage pretty soon. Obviously I need still...
Make sure the guns are clear, don't worry about my face.
The guns, yes, that's right. Well, also the kind of mean, fierce expression here. Trying to get that in there. Alright, anyway, I'm probably going to run pretty out of time, but basically this is a tool for people like me who want to be creative, who don't necessarily have the skills, and this lets me engage in the creative process, and maybe it'll help some of you guys too in your workflows. So, thank you.
Very nice. Who's going to interview that?
Part of the picture, not the entire thing. Take a look at this.
Inception.
Hello everyone, I'm here to talk about Perspective Walk, which is a new tool we're working on in the labs for editing perspective in photographs of man-made scenes. Here is a very old photograph. The perspective of the building on the right looks fine, but the old lens sends some wonky distortion, so the buildings are falling away on the left side. If I'm going to use an existing Photoshop tool like Transform Perspective to fix the problem, as you can see, the whole image gets warped and the perspective of the building on the right also got modified.
That's amazing, right?
With the new approach called Perspective Walk, I can lay down a quad on the right side to lock the perspective of the building, and then lay down another quad for all the buildings on the left, and then fix the problem.
Oh my God.
As you can see, we're keeping everything the same on the right while we straighten the buildings on the left. So here is the original image, here's the corrected image.
Very good.
Let me show you another example.
Sarah, you're doing great.
Thank you. Imagine you wanted to...
Sarah, you're my favorite.
Imagine you wanted to change the 3D shape of the building and change the viewpoint from which you see this building. And let me try to use another existing tool called Pepperwalk to do this. Images like this contain lots of straight lines and planar surfaces, but the existing tool doesn't know it, so it turns it into jello and everything bends. So with Perspective Walk, I can lay down a few quads like this to indicate different planes in the scene. So here I'm going to put down 2 quads for the 2 planes of the building. And when I grab the handle, I can change the 3D shape of the building and the perspective. So I can make it more telephoto, or I can make it more wide angle. And we are keeping all the straight lines straight and planar surfaces stay planar. I can also move this vertical line to change the camera viewpoint. So now we're looking at the building from the corner instead of off to the side. In a way, we are editing this building in a 3D consistent way without ever reconstructing a 3D model for the building.
Wow. Sarah?
Yes.
Is there a Mr. Com?
Let me show you one last.
Wow.
Here's the layer stack, and I'm trying to composite a bus into this street scene. It doesn't look very good because the perspective of the bus does not line up the perspective of the street scene. Its vanishing points should be the same in the same place as the vanishing points of the buildings. So let me go ahead and use perspective warp and lay down a few rectangles which give a simple box model for the bus. And when I grab the handles and eyeball it to line up all the vanishing points.
Cool. You don't seem very excited.
Notice we haven't actually reconstructed this bus in 3D, but simply knowing that roughly there are two planes like this allows us to correct perspective while keeping everything straight. So here is the original composite. Here is after perspective correction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
Nice going, Sarah.
I hate these people. So, do we have any designers here? All right. So, I met with a design group at a publication company who said, you know, and I showed them National Geographic and Wired magazine, and I said, this is how you're going to move forward with your digital publications. And they said, well, we do a lot more publications than they do. We have a much smaller staff and a much smaller budget. And they said, but we want it to be as cool as what they're doing. How do we do that? And I said, well, you know, I actually am not entirely sure. So I went back to the R&D team. Actually, it's called the Imagination Lab. And I got a hold of a guy in the lab by the name of Daichi, and he said,
like the Musketeers?
But kind of, actually. And they do a lot of songs and dancing and all that stuff around source code, which is, I know, your favorite. But nevertheless, this particular group helped me create this particular thing. So I launched Adobe Content Viewer, which is part of the digital publishing suite. And what's great about the Content Viewer is it's a way for me to check what I'm doing with the digital publishing suite. The digital publishing suite allows me to create mobile device content without writing code. So I can put Soul Pancake.
Tom, talk to them, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's coaching, like real time. You didn't tell me, Ben, that was going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the this publication, and this is a fairly kind of bland publication. Now it's got an interesting subject, but if I just scroll through it, you'll notice there's really not a whole lot of interactivity. It's definitely not like National Geographic. Great subject matter, clearly awesome copy, and pays a fairly deferential homage to its subject, but not terribly engaging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my Mac, and in this case I'm going to this is Daichi, by the way, who helps me out here. Now, yeah, big round for him. So what I'm going to do is we created a panel for special effects such that if I want to add a bit of sparkle to Rain's pants, all I do is select a frame and pick Shine, select my parameters, and hit Engage. And when I'm ready to publish, his pants are going to shine. Fairly bizarre idea that I selected Rain to make your pants shine, but nevertheless, that's what we did.
Why do you want my pants to shine?
They might actually do that. So this one is awesome. Rain is cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some snow right over here, and you'll notice that when I select snow, it gives me some parameters so I can mix it up whenever I want. When I hit engage and I publish, I'm going to have snow. I'm going to come down and I can apply rain is almighty. Apparently that appears to be your shoes are almighty too. So what I'm going to also do is I can apply the scintillation effect and set its parameters. And so this is what, oh, and I have, Marilyn, I have a couple in here for you. We're going to make you look awesome. So that's what we get. Now I'm going to come back over to the tablet. Now, by the way, real quickly, since this is Digital Publishing Suite, I would publish this out to the device, and you'll see what's going to happen. Now, how much code did I write? Any code? A lot of code? No.
No code.
Thank you. Zero code. So, now I made a second edition. No code. No code, but we're going to have shiny slacks. So there we go. No code. And I have shiny slacks. I think we lost it, but there we go. We have shiny slacks. I'm going to move on to the next page. Rain is cool. How much code? No code. Watch this. We also made it gyro enabled. Right? I don't know if you can see that. The rain, excuse me, the snow is going in another direction. Wow. Yep, there you go. No code. Oh, rain is cool. We did some falling leaves. That one was awesome. Let's see, scintillation effect, drawing attention directly to your chest, making the dress sparkle. I don't think anything's more exciting than a sparkling dress. We lit the bomb on fire. All I did was draw the box, set the parameters. This particular effect is actually written so that it doesn't catch hair on fire, so it's got a little bit of extra.
Do the attention to my chest. Like a larger.
Funny you should say that. We tried that. Nevertheless, this one's shocking. So actually, rain electrifies. So wherever I touch on the screen, it's going to shock.
Yes.
Now we did one other one that's awesome. Now this one here is just sort of timely with regards to the news, but this one is related a little bit to maybe some news reports that you've had recently. This is parallax, so if in fact you really do want to have, I don't know if you can see it real well on that screen, but it definitely, the glasses are moving, your famous tweet about the mustard. Now, I could have made the mustard brown, but anyway, oh God, is he coming out?
Could you make my boobs explode quickly?
It would make I could probably.
Yes.
No, we're out of time for that. Anyway, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, lighting changes.
So thank you very much. So I'm going to show you how I can work with photos. And here's a picture of a very famous village in Italy. And I like a lot the viewpoint, but when I look at it again, I'm kind of disappointed with the illumination. Like the light is not very good. That is too harsh, the shadows are too dark. I wish I had waited a bit longer, maybe to get a nice sunset, or maybe even better, a night picture out of this. No, it's too late. I'm here. I can go back and take again the picture.
Where are you from, dude?
I'm from France.
From what?
From France.
From France?
Yeah. Paris, God, man.
Yeah.
I'm taking my wife to Paris in about 2 weeks.
Oh.
For real. Where should I go? Any tips?
You're going to my place?
What?
You're coming to my place?
I'm coming to your parents?
To my place? No.
Your place? Oh.
Okay.
Sure.
So.
Hold on, man. Any good restaurants?
Plenty.
Yeah?
Everywhere.
Like what?
La Tour d'Argent.
What? But of course. Why, when I go to France, should I speak like this to everyone? Hello!
Exactly.
Straight to the Eiffel Tower! They like that, right?
Yeah, we'll get you the restaurant list afterwards.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So, let's go back to what I wanted. So I'd like a better light on that picture. So we made a technique. So to start from, we go on the internet, and because it's a famous village, we can easily find 50 pictures of the same village from different viewpoints and different lighting. And then among these 50 pictures, I'm going to find one that I like. So I like these lights, but it's not the same viewpoint. So, I'd like to keep the viewpoint, but I'd like to get that light that I see here. So with my colleague at MIT in Iria, we made a technique. So it's kind of slow, so I pre-computed everything so you don't have to wait. But let's see what we can do. Can we get this viewpoint with a nice, better light? So let's see what we get. Thank you. So actually what's nice, now that I have that, I can actually do that on other viewpoints of the same village. So here another viewpoint of the same village, and let's see if I can get also the same kind of night illumination applied to it.
Is that in Paris?
No. So actually what I can do is I can put any illumination on any viewpoint. So I can do some more now that I have this very powerful tool. So I've recommended a few more things, and what I want you to look at what's coming is that I'm going to swap between viewpoints, but the illumination is always going to be the same. So pay attention to that. The light is not going to change. So let's see what viewpoint we have available from the data we downloaded. So I can move around and always have exactly the same illumination. And I can choose a viewpoint that I like, which is really nice. So I like this viewpoint. So now let's see what kind of light I have. Can I get different illumination? So yes, I can. I can cycle through different illumination and choose what I like.
I think it's magic. I think you're... Are you a magician? Are you Gandalf?
I'm a magician.
Get out of my head, man.
So then I can further refine a bit of viewpoint now that I get this lighting and keep the same night view here, even if none of this picture was taken at night. So here's my final picture of that village. It's great.
This is a pretty impressive way to apply lighting to pictures. Can we do something similar with video, with movies?
So I also have something with videos that we did with people at Harvard. So here's an example of transformers, and I like the color of that movie. It's very colorful, it has a very strong look. And what I'd like to be able to do is to apply it to a sequence made by my friend. It's a nice sequence, but it does not have this nice color there. So I'd like to do the same thing.
Is that Megan Fox?
Confused. So let's see what I can do. I can go to Effect, Color Correction, Hue Saturation. Then I can try to change a bit the hue. Not quite there. Maybe I can try the saturation. You know, it's hard, and I could spend more time. I'm sure I would make it work, but it's not easy, and I don't have time. I don't want to do that. So we made a technique that made that much easier. The only thing I have to do is to paint the main character using the roto brush, and then do some computation. So again, it's a bit slow, so I pre-computed the result, so you don't have to wait. But let me show you what we get. So here we have the result of my friend's video with the look of Transformers. And what's nice is that I'm not limited to Transformers. So for instance, I can take this whole movie and I can give the same look to my friend's video. And let's see how it does. So here's my friend's video with a film noir look.
It's taking the lighting for a movie he likes and applying it to a movie of his choice.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, watch this, it gets better.
So there is one more thing. I'm not limited to do that with amateur video. I can actually do that with real movies. And for instance, as we discussed, I'm French and I like Amélie. So let me show you a small clip of Amélie that I like.
Avec elle-même. Tout est parfait en cet instant. La douceur de la lumière, ce petit parfum dans l'air, la rumeur tranquille de la ville. Hélas.
So I was wondering, that's a very sweet movie, but what happened if, Michael Bay did an action movie out of Amélie? How would that look? Right? So with our technique, we have an answer. So let me show it to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Our next presenter is Noam, who's experimenting with new effects and things you can do, again, without writing any code at all.
Alright, hey everybody. So, as Ben said, he uses a design tool that allows designers who don't want to write code to create websites. So I've designed a site we use today, And I just want to take a look at what it looks like inside the browser. So I'm going to export that to HTML. Muse is going to take care of all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for me. So let me just scroll down the page. So I have a nice site, the color's good, the design's it's pretty solid, typography's nice, but I feel like it's pretty flat. I can scroll down, but it's just kind of like a flat sheet. And this site is all about an immersive experience, so I really need to communicate that storytelling in some sort of new way. So let me try these new experimental effects and see what we can do. I'm going to go back into Muse, and let me just select these, and I want to start this section. I want it to rotate as I scroll down. So I want to enable some scroll motion to these, and they're going to be fixed so that when I scroll, they'll remain on the screen so I can see that rotation. Now, I have this ring here, and I want it to rotate to the right, but that's going to require some geometry, which is like 2 pi r squared or something I'm not really sure about. So I think I'm just going to use an effect instead. So I want to select that orange ring here, and apply that rotate right effect. For the yellow one, I'm going to go to the left, and for the blue one, I'm going to rotate to the right a little bit slowly. So let me export that and see what Muse came up with. So here's our page again. I'm going to scroll down, and let's see. We have some nice rotation going on, and that's using CSS3 effects. So we have a good start. I can go into that immersive experience. Alright, so one more section, customizable color. So I really need to communicate more than 6 colors that I have on the screen. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to go down to that section first. Let me enable that scroll motion again. So we can enable parallax scrolling effects, first of all, so that it's a little bit more dynamic and has a little bit more depth. Let's see what that takes, what that looks like. So Muse is going to figure out when to move those phones into the page. Okay, we got some motion going on, a little bit more depth, so it's a little bit interesting. But we got motion, but this is about customizable colors, right? Let's try to fix that.
Usually, Ray doing something like this will take a lot of code. He's getting these incredible effects just by making menu selections, and it does all the coding for him.
Oh, that's what everyone's so excited about.
No, this is better than that French movie.
No way. Seriously?
Alright, so apply
That's a French guy.
So the first thing I'm going to do is try a fade in effect. So we get to I'm here. You can do this to your website too, by the way.
Really?
Your website's flat.
Will you come over and redesign our website?
What's that?
Will you come over and redesign our website?
It depends how much money I can get out of it.
Wow. He's got face. That was a big fat no.
Wow. I mean, it's all about capitalism with you. I'm on a mission to make the world a better place. And you, it's all, okay, whatever.
Let's go. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down. I tried that fade in effect, so now Muse is doing the math for me. It's trying to figure out when to fade the phones in. And we see a little bit of transparency, which is kind of fun, but it's still not customizable color. Let's go back and try one more thing. Alright, I'm going to select these phones, apply a color blur filter, export that to HTML, CSS3, and JavaScript. Let's see what we got. I'm going to scroll down. I got some blurring happening, and pay attention to the colors. Notice that they're changing as I scroll down the page. So I don't have to go to Photoshop and re-export the images. I don't have to call the rendering artist and get more colors. I just have to take care of it and it fix it for me. Alright, one more section. 3D screen, but this is flat and kind of boring. So let's see what we can do. Now, somebody told me that I need to learn trigonometry if I want to do some 3D stuff. Something about matrix math, which I have no idea what that is. It's LA, we could call Keanu Reeves, you know him? Who? Keanu Reeves, Matrix guy.
Yeah, we're like this.
Okay. Alright, we can do that.
Keanu!
Yeah. He's in the machine. Alright.
I really want him to run over.
Let's see what Keanu can do for us
I
here.
want Eric to try to kick the shit out of him.
Alright. Here we go. We got this first section. Something called isometric flip. We're spinning in 3D space. Maybe that will help. Now, this is going to be live HTML text. It's search engine optimized. I don't want to make it an image in order to do anything with it. So why don't I try isometric text flip. And let's see what we got. I'm going to export that to the browser. Remember we started out with a really flat site? We got this first section. We got the color blur coming into the screen. And pay attention to the phone. It's spinning in 3D space using the latest CSS3.
I get really tired of all this. I told you. So, once, 6 times I told you. No more conventions. No more these Yahoo conventions.
Who's this guy?
Sorry. Hey, gotta go.
Alright.
Sorry. Here. You want to talk to my girl?
Yeah.
Say hi.
About 8 people are really...
So let me start with the story. Last year, my wife and I, we were invited to a wedding, and she was thinking about something to wear to this wedding. So naturally, she went to the shopping site, and she had a very clear view in mind what she wanted to wear. So it was a kind of slim-fit, long red dress. So she went to the shopping site and clicked the dresses section, and whoa. So there's
Nico, I feel like you could be my little brother in a way.
Thank you very much.
There's a resemblance. You're like my bald little brother.
So. So yeah, I should call my parents about this actually. Yeah, well. So she went to this online shop site and she browsed through dresses and she simply couldn't find what she was looking for. So a few weeks later, we sat down at the office and we talked actually about this, and we had an idea how to improve this. So we hooked up some visual similarity library developed by John Brand from research and coded the touch UI for this. So just let me show you. So we have a template image right here where we are searching similar images for it. And you can start to modify this. So actually, as I said, she wanted more of a slim fit in this case. So let me modify this. Let me make it a little bit slimmer here. And less there. And you see how the results are changing already. And well, maybe this is one thing she could be looking for. So let's click it. You see that the template image changes and do a last change. But we wanted to have this in red, so let's pick a red color here. And this is all based just on the similarity, so there's no metadata or text involved. And just let's paint this and see how it comes up. And again, the results change. And yeah, we already have something that we might have been looking for. Now we have the dress, but we still might need some shoes for it. Let's click on another template image, and the images again change.
Wow!
And let me reshape the shoe, because I'm not the expert here, but I don't think that this shoe will fit the dress. So let me reshape this. Let me make this a little bit higher here, and let me try to add some heel to this shoe.
High heel. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
What else? So yeah, it already comes up. So let's click this as a new template image. And again, let's paint this in red. That should fit. And again, we found something to wear. It's a family reunion. So, one last thing. So,
I wish you could all feel this right now.
It's amazing.
It's like a baby hedgehog.
Rough?
Go feel it.
Rough like a
he's got to finish his demo though, really.
What? Just keep talking.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Feel it.
I'm not interrupting you.
No, not at all.
Go.
That's good.
Isn't it soft?
It's really soft. I thought it was going to be like...
It's like a beat. It's like a little beat.
Okay, you guys left me all over the back.
This was.
Alright, Ben, you're no fun.
So, as this was a wedding, she was also invited to a bachelor party. So, at this very special bachelor party, you had to wear a t-shirt. But not just any t-shirt, but let me make this a little bit more slim fit, and you see that this one's coming up more. And let me recolor this, but there's one more thing. So at this bachelor party, you didn't only have to wear a t-shirt, but you had to wear a t-shirt with a really good-looking man on it. So it was basically to test the commitment of the future wife. So we need a really good-looking man here. So let me paint one. We'll try this. So the eyes, the nose, and yeah! You already see my brother coming up.
Yeah! Nico!
Thank you, Nico. Okay, we got 3 more speaks. I want to keep moving. Right?
Got it?
Yeah, edge-coded brackets.
So anybody here write HTML and CSS for a living? Any web developers? Yeah, awesome. That's great. By the way, thanks for calling me an idiot. It's awesome. So,
you're welcome.
As a web developer, I get comments like this all the time from my designer, right? They make them in Photoshop. It's an awesome tool for designing websites. But it's not so great for me as a web developer because now I have to go in and figure out all the stuff that my designer did, right? I have to, figure out what's this gradient? Well, maybe it's a layer effect, or maybe it's, got some shape fill thing that I have to figure out what the stops are. And I have to dig around and figure out all the fonts, and then I have to take all of the layout information by measuring it, and I have to take these bitmaps and extract them into different files on my hard drive and all that stuff. So we showed some cool workflows in the keynote for getting Photoshop prompts into reflow and onto disk, but we wanted to explore what would it look like to put those tools in something that web developers use every day, their tool of choice, which is a code editor. So let's actually put Photoshop entirely here. And I'm going to go into my code editor here, and we're going to use this feature that we're calling PSD Lens. So I'm going to open that exact same Photoshop file, but it's going to show up here in my code editor. Now, this isn't just a preview. I can actually mouse over individual layers here to see what all the different layers are in the Photoshop file. And you'll see that if I actually select one, then I get measurement information. So I can see oh, it's 99 pixels from the side, or it's 19 pixels from the top here, right? So that's cool. I can start using that to write some layout code. But now let me start writing some style code for my nav here. So again, I got this nav thing, and I have to figure out what's the font it's using, and what's the size, and what's the spacing, and all that stuff. So normally I have to dig around in the type tool in Photoshop. But here, using PSD Lens, because I have this selected in the view, if I go up into my code editor, I can use code hints. And the code hints show me exactly what's the font, what's the font, what's the font size, what's the line height. I can pull it straight out of my Photoshop file without ever having to open it. Okay, that's cool. And I can put this code anywhere. I don't have to, it's not telling me where to write the code, I can put the font up here or whatever. So I'm just writing code and I'm just pulling out the information. Alright, let's do something a little more challenging. I've got this gradient here. So now I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to write a selector for that. And now again, because now I have that gradient selected, I can bring up my code hints, and now you can see that it actually gives me the gradient information. Gives me the border radius. Yeah! I can do that stuff I don't want. I don't want to commit the title. Yeah! Alright, hey! Whoa, it gets better, it gets better. Gets better. Please silence for the final act. This is really awesome. I don't know, I think it's pretty good. Alright, so now I gotta work on this logo. And again, this is like a bitmap layer in Photoshop, right? So I have to pull that out into a file on the hard drive. So again, I don't want to have to go back into Photoshop and fiddle with all that stuff. I can bring up my code pen again, and actually let me bring open the sidebar. So this is showing the files in my project right now. And pay attention to that. So now I'm bringing up my code pen with this logo selected, and you'll see that it has a background URL here. When I select that, you can see that it actually created a folder in my project with that logo already in it. And just to show I'm not cheating, if I go into Finder, you can see that that image is actually here in my project, right? So I can do it again, I can do it with the hero image here. If I want to write the hero rule, I can do that, and I can pull it out. Again, there it is, it's in my project, it's on my hard drive. So it's a really smooth workflow. I can open a Photoshop file, I can get the info I need out of it, I can pull images out. I never have to go into Photoshop, and I stay totally in control of the code. So.